going on, y'all? This Low.
This is Key and we're low key.
Today we gonna be hollering at y'all about how to set deliberate intentions. Now, when I think about deliberately setting your intentions, I think about goals. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. What about you?
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much just a two-word statement that describes focus to me and direction and knowing where you're going. Like when you get up in the morning and you have a goal, if your intentions are not deliberate, you're going to sway from side to side. You're going to go left to right, forward and backwards. And it's scary because we taught to get up, maybe go and work at a job, go to college, go to work at a job, or like join the military or something. And a lot of those guys get up, they so used to following a certain order and a chain of command, they don't know how to set their own intentions deliberately. Or it could be the opposite. I know from what I see, a lot of guys get out of the military and they go and their next job, they retiring from there too. Because the only thing they learned how to do was to follow and stick with it. So when you talk about setting deliberate intentions, you have to separate from others' direction. Job, company, corporations, your friends, other individuals who may blind you from what the Creator has put in you. You need to take a step back and think about what you want, what's best for you and your family. Like if you have a spouse, like is you guys' direction similar? Is it some way you can combine the two? You know? But the only way you'll figure out what you want is through action, like doing something. You have to step back, think about what you want, and then you'll form your intention and you'll be able to write it down and deliberately work towards it.
Yeah, I do believe that, like you said, when you wake up in the morning, how you start your day is how it'll end. So if you start your day with clear intentions, deliberate intentions, you gotta know what you want, know your goals, know what you're trying to reach, and set tasks and free up space. So you want to when I say free up space, I mean free up time. So if you don't know really what you want to do or what means the most to you, you free up that space so you can kind of sit there, meditate, and figure it out. You also want to treat every task like a meditation. So you want to breathe it. You want to stay in the present moment of that task or that goal that you're trying to reach. So the things that lead up to that goal, to actually reaching that goal, you want to stay in that moment. So don't divide yourself up, all over the place instead of trying to reach a goal, because your mind is not going to be deliberately on that task. So you want to make sure that you're treating every task towards your goal as a meditation. A lot of times I think
That's a good one.
yeah, we don't, I think we sometimes.
So you mean like focus?
Focus.
Yeah, you're right.
Focus. I think we can get distracted sometimes, I think, by just thoughts or by other things that may come up, and before you know it, we're looking at the day like I didn't get majority of what I wanted to get done today, because, and then you gotta sit down and you gotta think, like, were you intentional and deliberate about what you said you wanted to do? And did you, at the beginning of your day, did you set a deliberate intention on what you wanted to accomplish that day? And if you didn't, then it's clear that, and it's obvious that You need to plan better. And I think we'll do something on proper planning. How you can plan with setting deliberate intention. But
Sure.
you want to be able to make sure that you are clear on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Not if you're not trying to do something what somebody else wants you to do, or you're trying to meet somebody else's expectations, or you don't have clear thoughts about what it is you want. And that's a lot of times when the confusion and the frustration and the misunderstandings. And a lot of times I think if we set that clear intention in the morning, it creates patience. You know, it creates focus. It creates, when you go throughout your day, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I'm doing right now. And everything else has to be put to the side.
Yeah.
And it's okay with saying no.
Yeah.
You gotta set boundaries, you know?
The one thing that tries to throw a wrench in what you're doing is urgent things. Like we had an urgent situation today that threw off our schedule. But was it the urgent thing that really threw off the schedule? Or was it something that I didn't do earlier? It was something that I could have did different a week ago, 2 weeks ago, to avoid it. So either you look at something and you say that that's the reason, or you look to yourself. Is it something that happened to you that threw you off of your schedule that you blaming that thing on instead of looking at your past actions? And could that have been avoided if you would have did something different? And you'll find out most of the time it's something that you could have did different. If you would have did what you wrote down, you would have did it. Go ahead.
That's true.
I think when you're starting out, like, you shouldn't be hard on yourself. Because first of all, if you already set a deliberate intention, like most people don't even do that, but then you have to be persistent enough to see it through, because you won't fail miserably, you know. And that's the only way you'll form consistency, is through persistence. Like for people who start working out, you're gonna be garbage when you go in there for a long time until you develop that consistent routine. And that's the same thing, anything you set your intentions on, you can't expect to perfect it right away. Just like with meditation, setting schedules, anything, it's all the same. But you have to be persistent in order to capture consistency.
Absolutely. I think, I agree with that. You can't be hard on yourself.
Can't be.
Because I think when you are hard on yourself, because let's just be honest about when we're hard on ourselves, what happens? We get discouraged.
And or throw it off on somebody else, right?
Yeah, or we throw it off on, we don't take accountability, and then we find somebody to be mad at, when really it's you.
Yeah.
You know it's you,
Yeah.
you know, but you work to get better, and you don't allow things to determine who you are at that moment. You find the solution, and when you find the solution, you don't let it happen again. You just move forward. You don't let it happen again. I think when you want things to be perfect, and things will not always be perfect. Things are the way that you create them. So if you're thinking that you're gonna mess up, you're gonna mess up. If you're thinking that it's not important, it's not gonna be important. And I feel like whatever's important to you at that moment, that's what's gonna get your attention. That's your focus. So when urgent things come up, and that, you know, it gets your attention, that your focus is on that. So my thing is, how can we take that focus when an urgent thing comes and presents itself? How can we take that same focus that we put on that one thing and put it towards our life when we don't have something urgent in front of us, but treat everything like it's urgent?
Remember what we was talking about? So I've been reading a book. Me and my wife was having a conversation this morning. Remember the conversation we was having?
Refresh it. What? Refresh my
With
memory.
loss aversion.
Yeah.
When I was telling you about a 95% chance. So humans, you know, they'll take bigger risks to avoid a loss than they will to avoid a gain. And a lot of times, it's the same thing with the urgent task. Normally when it's urgent, you at risk of losing something. And then you mash the gas to avoid losing this thing.
Absolutely.
You
Mash
mash
it.
the
I'm talking
gas.
about mash
But
it.
when it comes to progression, when you, everything is, when you right there at your temperature, you saying you want to go higher, but you really bullshit. Because if you won't, you'll take that same energy you put into not losing something that you will to go further and secure a better structure.
I agree.
You see
I
what I'm
totally agree with that. And the reason I'm gonna say this because it just popped in my head because this morning we had that conversation. It actually was a good conversation because I didn't even think I never even heard of it.
But she ain't like everybody else though. She know what she doing.
And the only reason why I got the question right or we was in the conversation, he was like, you didn't say what everybody else would say. And the only reason is because I was once the person that would say the normal response to things because I had one way of thinking. And when I opened my mind up, which my husband helped me with that, I opened my mind up to thinking about things differently. I learned how to think about things before I respond because you have a natural like rhythm of things. Like you have a program that's running since you've been born. So you might not even want to say something, but because that program has been running, you're not even gonna think you're gonna jump right to it and say it because you have been taught that. But when you stop and you put a halt to that program and you try something different, then it's like, okay, yeah, that's what everybody else would do. I'm not going that way. And when everybody is going the same way, go the other way. I always know it's a different way, it's a better way. So yeah, that's real. That's real. And I think with that loss aversion, we used to look at David Goggins, but you remember in the book, when you read the book, it was talking about how he like put himself in pain, like he always goes beyond, so he tries to be better than he was the day before, so he doesn't get comfortable. And I think that's a lot of reason why we get comfortable.
Yeah.
And we don't progress.
I think that's what separates those who achieve what they want and those that don't. That same feeling, that fire that you get, because when you come from nothing, you have a fire at a certain level. Mm-hmm. But you gotta be around the things, you gotta be looking at the things that you wish to achieve in order to raise your temperature, or else you gonna be stuck in loss aversion. Yeah. Running to avoid not going back down and losing the thing, but not putting that same energy to elevate and achieve your goals. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This video been too long. You got something else on? That's it. This low.
This is Key and we're low key.
Like, comment,
and subscribe.
Peace.